Hallå ja! Hi! Welcome to episode 22, I think. Welcome anyway. Thanks for coming back if you're a returning viewer. And welcome! Thanks for giving me a try if you're a new viewer. And sorry for my creaking chair, but I like these chairs, so I'm keeping them even though they are creaking. Sorry. Hi, I'm Maja. You can find me as sjomajlin on Instagram and on Ravelry and on YouTube. Be my friend if you want to. I am knitting away on something that I really want to have finished for this podcast, so I am hopefully just about to reach the bind off. This is, I think, take 3. Yeah, because the first time I pretty much just started to record, and I just stumbled over all my words, so I started it over again and I got almost all the way through it, and then the battery and yeah, so I'm redoing it, and hopefully I won't, forget to say things in this one that I said in the last one, and vice versa, I suppose. But yeah, this is Friday, January 9. So this week was on Tuesday, we call it 13-dagen, which is 13th day in Swedish, which means it's the 13th day after Christmas. And I think it's Epiphany or Three Kings Day in English. I think you know what I mean anyway. And that is a bank holiday. So it was, Sunday on Tuesday, which is always weird, which also meant that Monday was sort of an in-between day that a lot of people took off from work. But then on Wednesday, sort of the real world started again. So I actually did start work this week. I did some emails and stuff from home on Monday, and then I started to work on Wednesday. And then I worked yesterday, and then I am going to do a singing job this afternoon as well. So it's the first, I've had a long Christmas vacation. No, what do you say? Well, time off from work. So I worked on December 19th, and then I've had, a few weeks off. Is it 3 weeks? I think. 3.5. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Sorry. So I've just started to work again, and it's interesting. I'm thinking I can talk a little bit more about that in the end, or towards the end, so that if you're mostly here for the fiber content, you can get that up front. However, well, I've mentioned before, and you know this if you've been with me for a while, in November and the start of December I was on sick leave because of stress and fatigue and depression and anxiety, and I think it's super important to be able to talk about that, because I think that the silence is making things worse for everyone. So that's, sometimes it's pretty hard to be open about it, but for me it's an important thing to do. So, as I said, I will talk, it's not big things to talk about, but I will talk a little bit more about it towards the end, but I also don't want to, shove it over into the corner, because I refuse to be part of the silence. I want us all to be able to talk about this kind of stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've done for this week. I'm trying to remember what I did this weekend, and I don't. All the days all float together. Yeah, but well, anyway, since I last recorded, most of those days have been off. I've worked. Well, I'm working today, so it's the 3rd day, but I've worked 2 days, and I did not do full days either, because I had some flex time. Do you say that? Like hours that I have worked but did not get paid for. so that I can take them off now and still get paid. But I've had quite a lot of knitting time anyway, so just let me finish up this needle since I'm working on DPNs. I don't need to finish the row, and then I need to measure that. So I just had to say that's what I would remember. I finished the Fork in the Road socks by Lara Neal. Let me just pop the blockers in here. They don't look very good on the blockers, and they don't look very good, you know, off the blockers either. However, they look really good on my feet. Yeah, they fit very good. But the toe and the heel are, well, the same. And they are called... sorry. And I think I said this wrong before. They are called the thumb joint hat top heel. I think I said top hat heel before, but it's hat top heel. Thumb joint hat top heel. For the heel, obviously, and then you do the same sort of decreases for the toe. So it's as a top, no, as a hat top, not a top hat. So they are rounded. This is the toe. It's kind of hard to show you, and there was long hair. But since they are round, they don't look very good on the blockers. But it fits really good, and I'm super happy with these. Lara Neal has, this is a free Ravelry download, Fork in the Road socks, and it has something to do, and I'm not exactly sure how, but it has to do with her book, Sock Architecture. I think this is sort of a freebie to sort of get a feel for her design ideas for the book-ish. She has excellent directions for how to make sure that the striping is not interrupted. However, I did not care about that, so I did not use them, but she has. So check it out if you are interested, because they are really good, and I'm super happy with them. The pattern. Words. The yarn that I used on my leftovers right here is the Opal Sweet and Spicy with the color number of 6751, and I'm shaking just a little bit, but I hope you can see it anyway. So it's oranges and grey, sort of as a wintry sunset, and then some of this. It's hard to show you in the yarn ball, but here you can see it's sort of. It's a little bit Christmassy maybe, or that sort of mock fair isle. And I'm liking them. I'm happy with them. Yeah, so I finished those. And now I need to just measure this before I show you these, so that I know what I'm doing. Yeah, okay, so it's time to bind off. So I will talk about the yarn first. I only have this much left. But you can see it's fairly... and excuse my nails. It's just what it is. It's a fairly fluffy yarn. It's a single ply, as you can see, and it's a tiny little bit of thick and thin due to how tightly it's spun. It is soy yarn. I think this ball band is in Danish or Norwegian, I'm not sure. But garn right here is yarn in Swedish, and then soy is, well, it's soja. But it's, you can pretty much say it's soy yarn, right? So it's 70% wool and 30% soybean fiber. And so these balls were, I had two. 50 grams, which is 120 meters. And I bought that yarn back in, I think, September, but it might have been the end of August. And I am binding off right now, so I need to look down a little bit more, I'm sorry. But I really want to have this finished. I was feverishly knitting away on them before I started recording, and then I just had to start so that I won't be short of time before I need to leave. Yeah, so I bought this yarn, and I talked a little bit about it back then. And the thing is that well, obviously I was curious enough to try it and to buy it. But I am a little bit... And I have not researched at all how this yarn is produced. But just in general, I have a little problem with... Okay, so for me, I mean, I'm not rich in Sweden, but globally, I'm filthy rich. I am rich enough to be able to save money each month. And that is, you know, just the top few percent globally that are able to do that. And I have money, I mean, I can afford to buy food every day. I never need to go hungry. And I can also afford to, you know, stay warm. I don't need to knit to stay warm, even though I like to do it. But it's sort of a luxury for me, you know. So I think I have a little problem, like a moral problem with using yarn that is sort of a luxury item for me, made out of something that might have been food for some other, you know, someone else that maybe is not having food. And as I said, I don't know. I have not researched how the soy yarn is produced. Maybe it's made from sort of waste from, you know, the food industry. I don't know. There is also, I know there is banana fiber yarn, and I know there is some sort of milk protein fiber as well. And as I said, I have not researched. I don't know how it's produced. Maybe it's a really good thing where they make sure that, you know, it also, like, I think the banana fibers are extracted from the banana peels. So maybe that industry makes sure that the bananas actually are eaten and then they use the peels. I don't know. I would guess that is not the deal, but I don't know. So I've heard about this soy yarn before, and I've heard people liking it, and I was a bit curious. So when I found this back in, I think it was September, I just thought to myself, like, okay, I'm buying 2 balls of it and I'm trying it out. If I don't like it, I don't ever have to buy it again, and then I don't have to worry about, you know, taking that moral stand. And I was kind of thinking, you know, like 2 balls is not that huge of a difference anyway, so yeah, I was curious enough, and yeah. So I did buy it, and I have tried it, and it's good yarn. It's soft, but I mean, it's nothing special, I think. As obviously I'm just right now finishing these socks. So I have not washed it yet, so I don't know how that will be. As I said, it's a pretty fluffy yarn. I think it might felt if you wash it roughly, or if you want it to felt even. I have not had it break for me, but as I was pulling the last loop or the strand through, when I had bound this off, it actually broke when I, you know, sort of pulled it in through the stitch. So yeah, maybe, you know, wear and tear might break it sort of easily, because there's no nylon in or anything. So maybe it wasn't the wisest thing to make socks out of it, but that is, I mean, that is on me. That is not on the yarn. But I don't really feel, I mean, this is not a yarn that I totally feel like, oh, I really need to use it more, because it wasn't that good. It wasn't bad, but it's not good, sort of. So what I did make, and I'm just down to the last few stitches to bind off here, I'm sorry. I told you, I think it was last time, about the socks that I made for my nephew. I made them back in October. I made both of my nephew's socks that they got for Christmas, but my oldest nephew had put them on and sort of refused to take them off, and it was the best gift ever. But his only complaint about them was that they were not high enough. You couldn't pull them high enough. So I decided to knit him high socks, or long socks. And I'm really trying to stall right now so that I can finish. I have 22 stitches left, or something like that, and I'm trying to hurry, which makes me stress, which makes me be all fiddly and mess up this. I'm using, and I never remember her name, is it Jenny? Jenny Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off? Might be. You know which one I mean anyway, with the yarn overs between each stitch. So this is super interesting, right? Especially as I'm kind of holding it out of frame so that you can see. I can start by telling you that I'm using my DPN Carbon DPNs Knit Pros, the short ones. I only have one pair, so it's the short ones that I always use. It's 2.75 millimeters. I'm so stressed right now because I really want to finish this, and I sort of feel like this is not good knitting content. Me just sitting here and binding off stitches that you can hardly even see. So, sorry. And the yarn I told you about. I did improvise these socks. I made them toe up so that I can make the legs as long as... I said I had 2 balls, so I made one out of each. So I can make the leg as long as the yarn would go, pretty much anyway. Because as I made the first one, I wasn't sure that both of the balls would be, you know, exactly the same yardage. So I wanted to keep, you know, a little bit, just so that I wouldn't be short on the second one, if it were varied just a little bit. So I improvised this, as I said, and I thought they look super weird. The foot looks tiny, so I tried them on like a million times on my sock blockers that are for my size, which is a European 39-40. I think the blockers are sort of for 38 through 40-ish. And I hope they will be good. And that is the last stitch, so let me cut the yarn and pull it through. Yay! Without having it break too much. Or not at all, actually. Good. Oh, yarn down, project down. So this is how much I had left out of that ball, including a long hair, obviously. And I need to sneeze. I just need to fight it off because I don't want to sneeze. And I'm trying to get this sock right because I had sort of, you know, folded it up on itself because it was so long for the last few stitches. So yeah, these are sort of my size sock blockers. So because it looks, this is the foot, it looks weird, and as I said, the leg is long. But I've tried it on my sock blockers a million times. And my nephew is 6.5. So I mean, his feet are not as big as mine, and not as big as my sock blockers. And obviously the stitches are stretched a little bit too much, like this. But it's not supposed to be this big. And the heel sort of fits on the heel. It's a little short, but then again his feet are shorter. So I hope it will be okay. Okay. I improvised a short row heel, which looks a little bit like the Fish Lips Kiss heel, even though it's not. I can show you the other one right here. And then it's a 2x2 rib for most of the leg. And then up here, where I think it will be sort of at his knee, I increased by 8 stitches, 2 on each DPN, because I used 4 or 5 DPNs. And then I changed it to a 1x1 rib, so it's a bit looser up here, which, as I said, I think might be on his knee. So it's a pretty long sock. As you can see, it's almost, you know, as long as my arm from the heel. So you could either pull them up or fold them over, or sort of do this. Which is actually, socks like these were like the coolest thing you could ever have when I was like, I don't know, 10. And we called them USA socks. And it was the coolest thing ever. So you could do that as well. And I do hope that they will fit him, because I haven't met him to try them on his feet. Yeah, and I do hope, as I said, that this yarn will be sort of... I guess he's gonna wear socks like these mostly, you know, as sort of cozy bed, or, you know, snuggling up on the couch. What do you say? Sofa. Socks. So I don't think he will use them in shoes. And since there is no nylon or polyamide or anything in them, I guess that's good, because I don't think they will wear that good if you were to wear them in shoes and stuff like that. But yeah, they're super tall and they look super weird with this tiny little foot. But yeah, and I'm still not sure about this, but since I've tried them on my sock blockers a million times and it sort of works, I'm hoping it sort of works, and that they will be, you know, tight and snuggly, hopefully. And the yarn is super soft, so it's gonna be good for, you know, next to skin. So I will weave in these ends, but I'm showing you this right now as being a finished object with these two socks. And I'm liking these colors. It's shades of blue, and I think I like them. As I said, I'm not overwhelmed by this yarn, but it's okay. So yay! Another finished object. Good. The last thing that I've been working on is the Lado sweater. I showed it to you last week. I had done the ribbing. It's a top-down, Bohus inspired stranded colorwork yoke sweater. So I had started it last week. Maybe I had only just started the colorwork. I'm not sure. However, I've done a little bit more on the colorwork for this week. So right now it looks like this. I'm a little bit... Let me see, yeah, because I have the shirt right over there. I've done 2/3 of the colorwork chart. I was a bit worried that the two blues were too... well, that the contrast between them was not enough. But as it looks right now, I am happy with how it looks. And also there is a beige and a grey that I also thought might be, you know, a little bit too close in color, but I think they turn out fine as well. And this brown is the main color, and that is, yeah, I like it. And then this yellow, and then I only just started over here with the purple that are on the needle right there. The purple is only gonna be for one round. Yeah, so you can't really see because it's not, you know, like in the knitting yet, but yeah, I think it's gonna be good. I'm liking the colors. The yarn that I'm using is Drops Fable, or Fabel as I would say in Swedish. It's almost in focus. Now it's in focus, I think. You know what it is, right? It's 75% wool and 25% polyamide, so it's pretty good, pretty much a sock yarn. But I think it's very soft, and I think it will make a good sweater as well. You know, sort of, I think it will wear good. I did knit the ribbing on 2.5 millimeters, and now I'm using, for the stockinette, I'm using 3 millimeters, my interchangeable Knit Pros with the Nova tips. So I'm using that. I do think it is stranded colorwork, and here's the back. You're using 2 colors at a time, so you don't have to carry, you know, all the colors. And I have a lot of... Whoa! Dropped a stitch. Got it. You can all breathe. I'm having like all the ends right here because I don't want to have, you know, all the yarns attached to the work if I'm not using them for a number of rows. So, and something looks weird right there. No, it doesn't. Sorry. So yeah, I'm it's stranded colorwork, as I said, and you're carrying the yarn. Most of the floats in the pattern are pretty short, which is good. And then there are some that are longer where you have to catch the floats. And I haven't found any directions for that, but I'm doing it anyway because I think it's necessary. And I mean, this is not exactly a beginner pattern either, so you should pretty much know that you need to catch the floats on the back side. And I just dropped that same stitch again. So I'm hoping that I've done a good job this far. I have not yet put it on a longer needle to try it out, but I think it's good. I think I've got good tension on this, and I think the pattern is making it pretty easy. As I said, most of the strands or the floats are short enough, so it's not a huge problem getting good tension. So yeah, this far it's a pretty simple knit. I mean, you obviously need to pay attention and look at it and be focused. So it's not, you know, a brainless, you know, sock knitting, looking at TV or whatever. But this far it's, and I have an itch, sorry. This far it's easy. It's not hard. So I do recommend it. It's Lado. It's available on Ravelry. The design, they are called Wool and Bricks. But I don't know if it's wool and bricks or if it's wool plus bricks on Ravelry. If you really want to find it, you can go through my projects page. I have a project for it up. I have not posted pictures yet, but I have a project for it and you can go through there. It's a paid for pattern. I got it as a gift from James Dancing Geek. Hi! Thank you. And yeah, as I said, this far it's a good pattern. And I mean, I guess it is going to be a good pattern overall, but I can't tell you that yet because I haven't done it yet. So yeah, that is currently my only work in progress. So I really need to cast on something else that is, you know, a little bit more mindless, because that takes, it's not hard, but it takes focus. So I want to have something that is a little bit more mindless so that I can, well, sort of TV knitting, even though I don't have a TV. YouTube knitting. And I don't really know. I have some ideas what I want to do, but nothing that is like, I want to do that now. So I don't really know what I'm gonna cast on. I'll have to think about that. But yeah, that is, and I did show you that yarn, and I did show you that. Yeah, that is pretty much the fiber content I got for you today. Yeah, so if you're mostly here for the fiber content and you want to drop out right now, that is fine. Bye, have a good time. See you next week. But if you are here to, well, spend time with me and sort of get to know me a little bit better, please stick around. I won't hold you for too long. But as I said, I started working again this week. But it's a short week since we had sort of a Sunday on Tuesday. And also, I think I mentioned before Christmas that the floor that I had my office on at work, we were cleaning that out too, and we had words. Someone else was going to rent that floor so that we wouldn't have to pay rent for that, because we were in sort of a financial situation. And it was pretty much just me on that floor anyway, which I liked. But I mean, it's not, you can't, it wasn't words. It didn't really make sense. So I had to clean out all my stuff, and it wasn't, sorry, and it wasn't, the plan for where I was going to be, like now, wasn't done yet. So I stuffed all my things into like storage, and I still don't know where I'm supposed to be, like physically. So this week I worked mostly from home, because I felt, you know, it would be sort of weird to just wander around there and wonder where I could be, and not really knowing. And yeah, so I was like, no, I'm gonna work from home. And then also that helped me because you know, I'm still trying to get back into, well, the rhythm of not just sitting, but actually having energy to do stuff. But I'm still having trouble sleeping and I'm very tired. So that also helped me being able to, you know, well, first being able to sleep a little longer in the morning, and then I didn't, you know, I didn't have to like get dressed and, you know, like being all proper and going to be around other people. I could sort of just pull on my sweatpants and, you know, a huge sweater and sit by my computer alone and be grumpy if I wanted to. So that was good. And I think next week is gonna be pretty much the same deal, even though next week I have quite a few of singing gigs planned, which I obviously need to, you know, be going to and be presentable, wearing proper clothes and stuff. But I think it will be good. I think that is sort of a slow start, and I think that's exactly what I needed after this pretty rough, actually, end of last year and start of this year. I know that I have a, you know, a fairly good way to go, but I think it will be fine. I think I'm doing good. So that is now, as I said, it's Friday. I'm going to do, just let me look at the clock or the time so I'm not, yeah, I still have time. I just realized I didn't know, because I started recording the first time around in good time, and then time has passed, so. But I'm good, I'm good. Yeah, I'm going to do a singing gig this afternoon, which is the first this year. So that's gonna be good, that's gonna be fun. And then, but this was a very slow start week, and that was good. And then I'm gonna have the weekend off to just, you know, relax, take it easy. And then next week it's gonna be harder, but I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be, I sort of feel as though I can plan my week and I can sort of decide when I need to do stuff, except for the gigs, they are sort of fixed. But other than that, I can, you know, puzzle around it. Do you even say that? You probably don't. You say that in Swedish, that you can pussla. You can sort of fit stuff where you want them to fit. So I think that will be good. And I've got a good feeling. So that is fine. So yeah, that is pretty much like the personal update. And as I said, I want to be able to talk about like these things as well, even though sometimes it's really hard, but I think it's important. And that's why I really want to do it. So yeah, so thanks for spending some time with me. You're awesome, you know that, right? You're awesome. And thank you everyone for all the thumbs up here on YouTube and the love on Instagram and comments and getting in touch. I really enjoy it and it means a lot to me, so thank you very, very much. And thank you to you who just watches my video, because I can see it in the statistics, and it means a lot to me that people are actually, you know, that you are actually taking time out of your lives to, well, spend with me. It means a lot and it's amazing. So thank you very much for that. I do hope you will have a good weekend and a good week and, you know, everything like that. Take care of yourselves and be kind. And I will see you next week. Bye.